The third set of Fortnite Syndicate quests has brought us lots of lore regarding the Syndicates, the last reality, and the mysterious character of Triarch Nox, giving us further understanding about all of them. Adding on to the already established Syndicates, those being the Peace Syndicate, the Fox Clan, and the River Guard, the recent quest introduced us to two more Syndicates, the Luminaries and the Unseen. Not only that, a new character by the name of Serenade has arrived onto the island, possessing a deep connection to the strange monoliths and hinting at the possible return of the Herald. Fissures are also being found around the island near the Mega Biome that have apparent connections to the Zero Point and might be foreshadowing what Stellan had warned us about last season. With all this new lore come a lot of questions, such as who are the Luminaries and the Unseen, where is Triarch Nox from and what are his intentions, who is Serenade, is the Herald returning soon, and what is going on with the cracks on the island. There's a lot of things to explain and go over, and before we start, spoiler warning for part 3 of the Syndicate quest. So sit back, relax, and let's untangle the mystery of Mega City. Before we can begin, I would like to quickly recap what happened during the second set of Syndicate quests that we got last week. To sum it up, the Peace Syndicate were able to arrange a meeting with the River Guard and the Fox Clan at Thunder's restaurant, which they succeeded in, although the primary concern was that a fight would break out during the meeting like it had multiple times in the past. Fortunately, the Syndicates were able to put their differences aside, and the Fox Clan and River Guard united as one with the Peace Syndicate by sharing the common goal of exposing the saboteur and finding out who it is. Now that that's out of the way, let's get to our first question. Who are the Luminaries and the Unseen? Also, I'd like to add, in case some of you want to know who the Peace Syndicate, the Fox Clan, and the River Guard are, make sure to check out my previous video where I covered all of that. The Luminaries are a tech-based syndicate that was founded by Mystica. Currently, Mystica is the only established member of the Luminaries. I have dived deeper into Mystica's story in my previous video if you're interested in that, but I will mention that Mystica's NPC description says, as the founder of tech-based syndicate the Luminaries, mysterious explorer inventor Mystica has made a new home in Mega City and will do anything to protect it. This further proves that Mystica's home world was destroyed, considering the things we learned in the last video, and adding on to them making a new home in Mega City and wanting to protect it at all costs. This makes me continue to believe that the last reality destroyed their home world, and there is one more piece of information that will practically prove this theory to be true once I get to explaining the Unseen. Evie describes the Luminaries as the intellectual syndicate, and according to Evie, if you want something from them, they have most likely already invented it, studied it, or preserved it in a specimen jar.
The Luminaries are the intellectual syndicate. If you want it, they've invented it, studied it, or preserved it in a specimen jar.
They're basically a bunch of extremely knowledgeable scientists. According to the leaked dialogue for part 3 of the Syndicate quests, Evie says the saboteur has been stealing weapon prototypes from their labs. Fortunately, we are able to recover the stolen weapon prototypes, which turn out to be an assortment of mosses and specimen jars. Once we return the stolen weapon prototypes back to the Luminaries, they are impressed with us and unite with the Peace Syndicate in order to assist our efforts in snuffing out the saboteur. We then use the Luminaries' sensor backpack to zero in on the location of the saboteur and get some data on them as well. Then we find out that the saboteur is embedded with the anarchic syndicate, the Unseen. The Unseen are an unpredictable faction, and according to Evie, do not care when innocent people get hurt. They live in and cause constant chaos.
The Unseen are unpredictable. They don't care when innocent people get hurt.
Their current established members are Highwire, Styx, and Dahlia. Highwire, as of now, has no specific role in the Unseen other than just being a part of it. We can infer this from the NPC dialogue we get from Styx when we go to him as Highwire. Styx says, "You know I only listen to Dahlia, right?" Styx, just like Highwire, also does not have a specific role yet in the Unseen, but I'm sure we'll figure out what his role is in the near future. Despite that, what we do know about Styx is that he loves causing chaos and making problems for people he dislikes, and he dislikes a ton of people. Dahlia, on the other hand, does have a role in the Unseen. According to Dahlia's NPC description, she is a genius biohacker that has her eyes everywhere in Mega City. She is soft-spoken, and according to her description, she is self-made and self-perfected. She is also most likely a robot from the looks of it. I assume she started off as an AI that later built herself a human body, sort of like Amy, which explains why she can have eyes everywhere in Mega City. Some of you may have noticed that I did not include Triarch Nox, and that is because his character is rather complicated. Which leads to our second question. Where is Triarch Nox from and what are his intentions? We learned from Triarch Nox's dialogue with Styx that Styx does not know where Nox is from, indicating he may possibly be from the last reality, as that's been an ongoing theory for a while now. Although I still do not believe that Nox is a part of TLR because, like I mentioned in my previous video, the last reality has only one ruler. If Triarch Nox was one of the rulers of the last reality, and if the last reality was ruled by a Triarchy, then the Cube Queen would not be called the Cube Queen. She would have Triarch in her Serenade, so Nox ruling TLR is out of the question. As of now, I don't really have any guesses where Nox is from. Nonetheless, we will find out sooner or later. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about Nox's intentions. We know that the Saboteur is working with the Last Reality after they corrupted the files regarding the army of the Last Reality and is trying to cause a war between all the syndicates. Triarch Nox is believed to be the Saboteur. In dialogue between Dahlia and Triarch Nox, Dahlia says true empires are built quietly in the shadows. However, what I can't wrap my head around is why the Saboteur wants to take over Mega City. What's their goal? Aren't they working with the faction that destroys entire realities? Perhaps the Saboteur is being deceived, which leads me right back to the evidence that will also prove that Mystica's homeworld was likely destroyed by the Last Reality. In the third set of the Syndicate quest, Mystica has special dialogue with us, and when we speak with them, they say if the Unseen are working with the army of the Last Reality, they are fools. I strongly believe that this piece of dialogue from Mystica confirms that they have experienced what the army of the Last Reality is capable of firsthand, and perhaps the Last Reality's deceptive tactics are what led to her homeworld's destruction. We know that the Saboteur is working with the Last Reality at the moment, and perhaps the Last Reality are deceiving the Saboteur that if they aid TLR, the Saboteur will be spared and will have a place to rule. In this case, it would be Triarch Nox. He would be able to take over Mega City and reign supreme as ruler of the night/darkness, but it's all a ploy by TLR. Once TLR gets what they want from the Saboteur, they will destroy them and the rest of their world, which is what I think happened to someone in Mystica's homeworld and led to their world being destroyed by the Last Reality. On a side note, a new character that has been introduced to us in the latest update is Serenade. She has an intricate design, possesses a powerful connection with the monoliths around the island, and seemingly has possible connections to the Herald and the Last Reality, which paves the way for our next two questions. Who is Serenade, and is the Herald returning soon? Serenade is a complex character. She gives off strange vibes and seems friendly yet somewhat ominous at the same time. Her NPC description reads that she was once a lonely wanderer. Serenade gained powerful mystical abilities and now roams the lands around Mega City, assisting those in need for a price. At first it seems a bit strange she got these weird powers, but then you see she is assisting those in need with those powers, which makes you think, oh, she's a nice person. But then the description follows up with for a price, and then all hope for thinking she's good is gone. Her dialogue with other characters also make her seem nice, along with her skin description, which reads transformed by tranquil waters. Tranquil meaning calm. This all makes her seem like she's friendly, except when you read the description of her loading screen and it states let the music haunt you, making you conflicted on her personality and debating whether she is good or bad once more. Speaking of which, a ton of others, including myself, have noticed that Serenade's song plays a familiar theme that we've heard before, that theme being the Herald and the Last Reality's motif. Take a listen to a side-by-side comparison of the themes. You can clearly hear both the Herald's and the Last Reality's theme in the song, which may indicate she has possible connections to the Last Reality. Currently, there are 3 monoliths on the island, which Serenade spawns at differently each time. One in the Mega Biome, one in the Snowy Biome, and one in the Medieval Biome. Serenade performs her singing at the monoliths she spawns at. It is unclear yet what the monoliths symbolize and what they are for, but an ongoing community theory right now is that it may have to do something with a ritual. Considering Serenade most likely has the motif of the Herald's theme in her own theme, it's possible that perhaps Serenade wants to resurrect the Herald and bring her back. The textures of many objects, including the 0 point and the Herald's tree, have been broken this update, meaning that Epic is meddling with them somehow, and it could be heralding, no pun intended, the return of the Herald being very soon. Let me know what you guys think about this, because there are definitely some loose threads here since recent storyline characters have been made quite cryptic and complex. Nevertheless, this brings us to our final question. What is going on with the cracks on the island? Fissures have begun to appear around the island, mostly near the megabiome in the most recent update, and if you all remember, Stellan warned us that opening the rift gate would cause the island to rend in two. It's very possible that what Stellan had warned us about is now coming through fruition, and the entire island may fall apart in the near future. What do you guys think about this? If you have made it this far, consider subscribing, a like is appreciated, and please use my code Rezztro in the item shop. Thank you all for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Take care.